Hey guys, Joyful Gamer here, and today we are doing part 2 of What If Izuku was Isekai to Rise of the Shield Hero. And before we start, I want to give a shout out to Narukami Dreamer for doing the background, or yeah, pretty much the background for this, and it is amazing! And also, I love the costume right there, you can see. And spoilers, yes, that's gonna be Izuku's costume. And also uh, for Shigaraki's costume. Yes, if you didn't see the last part, Shigaraki also got isekai'd with Izuku. So yeah, pretty much for Shigaraki, imagine kind of like Anos Voldigo's costume, you know, just without the helmet, just like the whole entire suit. Just imagine him like that. Imagine that suit on Shigaraki. And also, there's this different thing I'm gonna do with Shigaraki is that instead of like being all crusty and stuff like that, you know, because of his quirk, since he's in a new world with like leveling systems and stuff, pretty much it's kind of like it's like level 1, they're like barely learning how to control things like and all that stuff. With the same thing for Izuku, pretty much they look different but also kind of similar of what they used to look in the world in that world. So for Shigaraki, imagine him like not being like crusty or anything. Or like pretty much imagine him like I don't know what the age of Shigaraki. Wait, let me just go search that up. Okay, I'm back. So he's 21 years old. Got it. Legal drinking age. Yeah. But anyways, so basically he kind of looks like any other like like young like 21-year old or any age of 21-year old. Basically, he doesn't look like he's like dry as hell, needs a drink like he was going through the savannah or some shit. But yeah, he looks healthy. Of course, there's some scars going down like his eye, one going down his eyes, and the other one like going down his like lip. You know, so there are some scars left from like their fight and stuff. Same for Izuku. He still has like the scars from the manga, but instead of looking like tired, he hasn't slept in weeks or days. He looks rejuvenated, kind of like he looks younger. You know, from before all of the shit happened. So basically, he still has like the physical scars, but still he kind of looks younger. You know what I mean? Yeah, I hope you do. So yes. So basically, yes, I just explained how they look and pretty much the costumes and stuff. And also for like the leveling thing for how Izuku and Shigaraki works, it's kind of the same thing for everyone. Like the game, like you get a new skill and you learn it. It's kind of like that. Like the higher skill you are, the more you're able to control it, or the more you're able to perform it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that. So imagine it like that for both Shigaraki and Izuku. And for Shigaraki, he still has All for One. Yes, but he doesn't have the spirit of All for One. Now he has the spirit of his grandmother protecting him and helping him calm down. You know. So yeah. last. So now let's start this. What if? Last time, where we last left off, a battle for balance between Izuku's and Shigaraki's world. A battle between light and dark. To see which one triumphs. If chaos reigns supreme, or nah, or maybe even laws are able to bring back the once ruined and corrupted world, but now bring it anew. But thanks to Izuku, with the amount of determination in the boy to bring the good inside of people, to bring the better selves out in such a distraught world, he was able to persevere with the help of others, with the help of his friends, and even his new ally. Even might think of that he might soon see as a brother in arms. But now, let's continue where we last left off, where Izuku met Raftalia and Naofumi. With, of course, this pretty much is like after Naofumi and Raftalia met, and of course Naofumi got accused by rape and everything. Yeah, I know it's a bad word for YouTube, but It's anime. What do you expect? Well, pretty much and pretty much uh, Izuku and Raftalia just start talking about what's going on. Where is he? If I remember, the place was called Melremark. Yes, it's Melremark. Ugh, can't spell it. Can't say shit. But basically, she explains of where he is and what's happening, and she explains the Shield hero and the other heroes because she actually kind of let's just say in a way she knew that they're not from here. Let's just say that with Naofumi knowing they aren't also, and of course now, but still, since Naofumi has that traumatic experience, he still doesn't trust them. The only person he truly trusts is Raftalia. But that's going to change a bit sooner than later. With Izuku getting up, and then pretty much, then here's another girl saying, "Oh, God, my head. Did I drink one of the Kurogiri's fucking drinks again? Experimental drinks? Oh, that hurts. Can someone please get me some painkillers right now?" Ow. With Izuku looking to his right, and by the way, Izuku still has like his hero costume with him, but it's all like tattered up. And also, I forgot to add this, but he still has his gauntlets from like you know, in like the manga and stuff. He still has the gauntlets. Yes, I say he still has them because I love those things, because those things are badass. But yes, he still has his gauntlets, and it's gonna be part of the suit that he's gonna now have, if you see on the bottom left of the screen. But anyways, let's continue. With then, of course, Izuku's Shigaraki, are you doing okay? With Shigaraki saying, yeah, I had the weirdest dream that I was fighting over one, and this kid that was like, what, 6 years younger than me, saved my life, and I was trying to become a better person, which I still kind of want to, actually. Oh, it feels so weird. And then he opens his eyes and says, and he looks around saying, wait, where are we? And of course, he doesn't notice Izuku yet. But then, pretty much, Shigaraki saying, wait! And then instantly sits up straight saying, where are we? Are we camping? Are we running away from the law? What the fuck? With Izuku saying, no. All of it that happened was actually not a dream. With Shigaraki just looking at Izuku up and down saying, huh. To be honest, I really thought it would. It did feel like a dream, but some good things just feel like a fever dream for people. With pretty much Shigaraki gets up, with pretty much Izuku saying, I recommend not getting up. With Shigaraki saying, huh? What do you... And instantly, pretty much Shigaraki, since of course his clothes were ruined, and mostly his like, he barely has like pants that are like shorts, and he doesn't have any shoes or anything. And basically, Shigaraki saying, you know what? Yeah, I'd rather sit here. And pretty much he grabs it with all five fingers, and he's like, ah, shit. And of course, pretty much the blanket just turns into dust. With Izuku saying, you really need to learn how to control that. Shigaruki's like, I know it, I try, but... this is a pain in the ass. With Raftali saying, what just happened? How did he do that? Izuku saying, long story short, but to sum it up quickly is superpower, to be precise. We're from a world that has superpowers that you're born with, yada yada yada, and I don't want to get into the details right now because I just want to know where we are and how to get back. With, of course, Izuku not knowing that Naofumi was just out of the tent hearing the conversation. With Naofumi saying, what? A world of superpowers, huh? I bet that place has its own adventures and shit. And that guy that just made the whole entire thing to dust. You might be good for my party. But then he thinks again, saying, but that just runs the risk of being betrayed again. But then again, just thinking like both the pros and cons of bringing just Shigaraki. At the beginning, he was just thinking of bringing Shigaraki. With Izuku, with Shigaraki asking if he can get some water. With, of course, Reptile saying, oh, sure, here, let me bring you some. Of course, she goes out of the tent and just gets him a cup of water. With Shigaraki pretty much just grabbing it with, like, his 4 fingers and, like, pinky finger up, you know, being a bit elegant. That was a bit of a joke, but yes. With pretty much Izuku saying, wow, aren't you being elegant? With Shigaraki saying, shut up. You know how my quirk works. With pretty much just drinking, with Reptile saying, quirk? But didn't you? What's that? Izuku saying, it's just what we call, where we come from, we just call it quirks, like the superpowers I was telling you about. Basically, that's what we call it. It's from where it's like you get powers from where you're born. Like, your power you get from, like, you turn to a certain age and yada yada yada. It's kind of complicated to explain. We don't know the biology and how it pretty much appeared, but, yeah, it just happened. With pretty much now for me just being extremely more curious and now thinking of gaining a lot more knowledge because of Izuku. Mostly he's using Izuku as like something like pretty much kind of like the guy that like gains knowledge and pretty much can like use it and stuff like that. And Izuku is going to be an extremely important part of this party in a way of like reading like scripts and like pretty much understanding what it says. And Izuku is like a really fast learner since like you know that he can think on the fly, he can like think of plans like in that spot. And also for Shigaraki, like I remember searching it up at one point, but I forgot the number of how many quirks All For One has. But I think it was like 27 or 21. I don't remember. But pretty much Shigaraki will have a lot more quirks than uh, than all. Actually, will have the quirks that All For One had, but it will actually change differently because you know how All For One kind of looked demonic in the anime. Instead, Shigaraki would just look more like not like demonic or monstrous. He would look more like a bit of a heroic, like visually. You know what I mean? It's because like the attitude change, like changes the quirk in some ways. You get the idea. Of course, let's just say All For One had this like lying quirk that he stole from someone at one day, and like can tell the difference between a lie and a truth. Y'all know where this is going, right? If you can't, then just wait and see. With then, of course, now Fumi just goes in the tent saying, so, you're from another world that has quirks or powers? He's basically saying, yeah, we do. And he's looking at Naofumi up and down, not like in a way of like judging him, just like analyzing him. And Naofumi understands this because he sees like he's on guard. It's like he doesn't trust him, and they don't trust each other, you know. With Naofumi respects that, which a little bit of respect he gained. Naofumi pretty much says, look, you don't trust me, I don't trust you, but we can get along. I can help. I can try to help you get back home, while you can try to help me defeat the waves. With Izuku saying, with both Shigaraki and Izuku looking at him saying, waves? With pretty much Naofumi explains about the 4 cardinal heroes and pretty much the waves, and about like parties and everything. With Izuku saying, so we're in a fantasy world, huh? To be honest, I've seen a lot of things in my work in my world and work, how you can say. But this is the icing on the cake, you know. Sure, I say, pretty much, yeah. I pretty much was crazy at one point, but now this is a whole type of crazy. But I don't worry. I'm not saying you're a liar. I can tell you're not lying. It's one of my, I have one of my, you can say one of my quirks, like that. With you, wait, you have a quirk for lying? Sure, I was saying, yeah, actually, I can tell. Actually, All For One actually stole like, a lying quirk at one point. I don't know why. Maybe it's because at the time there was like he couldn't trust people and stuff. But I guess I got lucky in taking one of those. Which actually, I guess it's gonna be useful here because I can actually tell who's lying, and I guess I can give help. I can tell if people are telling the truth or not, and kind of show them if they are or not. I don't know how, but it says right here. With you saying, "What are you talking about?" With Shigaraki just pointing down and saying, "This little video game-ish thing, video game screen here in front of me." With Izuku just saying, "What are you?" Instantly, something popped up in Izuku's. Imagine it like pretty much like solo leveling ish, kind of like solo leveling, but not completely, you know. So yeah, with Izuku just saying, "Oh, you're talking about this." Shigaraki saying, so you got yours too?" With Izuku saying, "Mm-hmm." Now this is really odd. With pretty much Naofumi is able to see it, well, both of theirs, with him saying, "So you have your personal game icons, whatever it's called." And pretty much he just sends like a little party request to like for them to join his party. With of course it says, "Welcome. Would you like to join Naofumi Watani's party? Yes or no?" With pretty much that like little choosing thing. With Izuku saying, "So, what do you want from us in return?" With pretty much Naofumi saying the conditions, like saying 1, you will not betray me, 2, you will not do anything stupid, and 3, you will not touch Talia or do anything dumb. Kind of like, you can think of it like that, but he does put like little restrictions. You guys can like think of the restrictions, but these are just things that I just thought, or you can add more. But these like little restrictions are slowly gonna be taken off at certain points, like at time from time to time, you know, because like that's when he's gonna be able to trust them. But anyways, let's continue. With of course Izuku and Shigaraki just talking about between each other, and of course Shigaraki says, "Well, he's not lying. He's telling the truth." And I think this might actually help us. It might be able to benefit us because if you see down here, pretty much pointing at like the bottom part where like his eyesight is, he says there's like a little leveling system. It looks like we're in a video game-ish fantasy world now. Huh. I can't believe I got isekai in my life. That's pretty cool. Izuku is able to see the leveling system, and it's like his leveling system is actually halfway. You know, it's not like completely leveled up. With Shigaraki saying, with Izuku saying, "Oh, mine's in half of level 1." Shigaraki saying, "What? Sorry, say what now? You're at level 1. We're both in level 1, right?" Izuku just shakes his head, saying, "Yeah, I'm in level 1. It's just that it's already half there." Shigaraki saying, "Oh." And he looks at his like little leveling system, and it's like at 0. With Shigaraki saying, "Aw, this is bullshit! I see the leveling system having favoritism now." Sorry if you saw that, but yes. Wait, sorry, let me do something really quick. But of course, Izuku just kind of snickers there. With, of course, Talia kind of laughs a bit too. With also a bit. Naofumi just kind of slightly smiles, like the ends of it. Like, it's barely noticeable, but Talia was able to tell. Because she, of course, knows Naofumi a lot more. With then, of course, they agreed on joining his party. With, of course, during this time, Naofumi started asking questions about their world and everything, with Izuku just pretty much answering it about quirks, about everything, about how it all started, and of course, kind of like the history and everything, and also some of the governments and like branches of government, like hero associations and stuff like that. With Naofumi being very interested in seeing like this like superhero world, and still, of course, knowing that at least 20% of humanity are deemed quirkless, but still, some people that were deemed quirkless are still being not treated so well. Not all of them. Some of them, yes. Not all of them, though. With then, of course, Izuku saying, "Actually, I was quirkless too, believe it or not." With Naofumi saying, "Huh? What do you mean quirkless? Like, were you at one point and are you a late bloomer or something?" And this is like when they were like walking like around and pretty much kind of like talking like while they're fighting like small monsters for Izuku and Shigaraki to like level up. With pretty much, of course, Shigaraki able to have like a shirt on now and like some shoes too. with then pretty much just grabbing the little monsters, with pretty much Shigaraki saying, "Aw, these cute little guys." Pretty much, and then instantly one of them just like growls and just bits his thumb, and he's like, "Ah, you little bastard! God damn it! Get out of my hand! Ah!" And pretty much just like shakes his hand off, up and up, down, like pretty much trying to shake it off. Pretty much, of course, like in pain. And pretty much, yes, Shigaraki's gonna be the comedic relief in the group. I hope you guys don't hate me for that, but yes, I just thought it was like appropriate for it, and it's gonna be hella funny, personally for me. With then, of course, pretty much Izuku saying, "You have a quirk, remember?" With Shigaraki saying, "Oh," pretty much thinking, "Ah, damn it, why didn't I think of that again?" And pretty much of case, and of course, just screams out saying, "You little bastard, get off me!" Pretty much grabs it with all 5 fingers, and of course, instantly turned into dust. Simple as that. Within, of course, they both leveled up to level 2. With pretty much Izuku saying, "This is gonna take a while." With, of course, Naofumi saying, "Yep." Also, pretty much, of course, Naofumi did take Izuku, and by the way, Ratalia is, like, by the time, like, a teenager at this time. So, yeah, like, physically a teenager. So, yeah, I would say, like, what, level 18, 19, 16, maybe one of those 3 levels. With then, of course, pretty much, Naofumi pretty much took Izuku and Shigaraki to, wait, let me search this real quick. Elhart, the nice blacksmith, pretty much the man that pretty much helps Naofumi, and he pretty much trusts Naofumi of what he didn't do, he didn't. But of course, like let's just say like 2 weeks passed, and Izuku and Shigaraki are able to quickly catch up, of course, because thanks to their quirks, and Izuku felt like some reason to like he felt like he should learn swordsmanship, you know. With Shigaraki, Shigaraki is gonna be like a bit of a brawler, pretty much like learning how to fight with fists and stuff. Not every time he'll learn how to use daggers. Think of Shigaraki kind of like think of him as Sun Jin-woo. Not completely, but just think of him like the look. Think of the look, you know? Pretty much with daggers, with the cloak and stuff. With pretty much Naofumi taking them to Elhart, with Elhart just saying, "Hey kid, how's it going?" Naofumi saying, "Not as bad, but a bit, things are starting to pick up." And by the way, Izuku and Shigaraki are outside the store just waiting for them to be introduced to Elhart. With Naofumi saying, "Oh, and by the way, I have 2 new party members. I don't know if I can still trust them, but who knows." With Elhart saying, "Oh, so you opened up now. Let me meet them." With, of course, Izuku still wearing down the mask, kind of like of his hero suit, pretty much saying, because like he still has that little paranoia from like his world is like bad things can happen and he doesn't want to be remembered. So this actually will help him a bit. This actually will really help him later on in the future, as you will see. But let's continue this for now. With then, of course, they call Izuku. Both of them are called up, with Shigaraki saying, "Hey," with Izuku just saying, "Hello." With pretty much Elhart just looking at the 2 of them, seeing that looking at Shigaraki, and he's like feels like a type of menacing aura, but yet kind of like it's kind of like it's like a pretty much an anti-hero kind of vibe, you know. With Izuku being like the hero that felt like and like a tragic hero. Basically, he kind of is a tragic hero, you know? Of course, Izuku and Naofumi and Shigaraki with Raftalia are getting to know each other a bit more. They kind of like, it's like that, they don't have complete trust in each other completely. It's like a, kind of like a colleague little thing. They know who they are, they can work with each other, but yes, this relationship will change a little bit more because of a little certain event that will happen. But it will not happen yet. With pretty much Naofumi saying, "So I wanted to ask you if you can," with pretty much Elhart saying, "Ah, so you want me to make them suits that will actually combine with them and actually work with them?" To be honest, I think the kid already has it. It's just that it needs a bit working with. With the other guy, though, that's a bit different. Shigaraki saying, "Huh? What do you mean?" With pretty much the guy saying, "I can make you the look of how you want it, but it's gonna cost you a bit more." For the kid, I can just kind of do a bit of modifications and also some repairs on it, if you don't mind me doing that. Izuku saying, "Yeah, I don't mind." Of course, he kind of like he takes off the top part of the mask, which shows just like the green hair with the green eyes, not his mouth though. And of course, he still has like the scarf from God, I forgot his name for some reason. Wait. Okay, it's Gran Torino's scarf. Gran Torino. Now I remember the name. So basically, Izuku still has Gran Torino's scarf, but now it's fixed with actually a few like imagine like pretty much like with a bit of green in it, like green stitches, like pretty much piecing them together. And it's kind of symbolic in a way because Izuku's being slightly put back together in this what if, you know? It's kind of symbolic in a way. With pretty much Izuku still has the green scarf, and pretty much he uses the scarf now as a bit of a mask to cover his like top part of the head, pretty much just leaving green eyes, you know. With pretty much Shigaraki, aren't you paranoid? Don't you? You have a lot of paranoia, kid. With Izuku just giving him that look, saying, "Seriously?" Shigaraki seeing this, saying, "Okay, okay, I see that. I see it. I know. Okay, I get it. I take the blame. I take the blame. I understand you now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry." Pretty much Naofumi confused, and pretty much Raftalia also confused, with of course Elhart also confused, since of course Izuku and Shigaraki didn't tell them the whole thing about their backstories. They won't tell them yet though, because remember, trust issues. So yeah. Anyways, pretty much of course Izuku told them about the suit and pretty much a few fix-ups, with of course Elhart saying sure, and if you don't mind, I'm gonna put some of my little pizzazz if you don't mind. With Izuku saying sure, I don't mind. You already see the suit, so yeah. With pretty much Izuku saying, "Oh wait, actually, I kind of want to ask if I can use a sword too." And he kind of draws up a sword, like if he asked if he has a paper with Elhart, like giving him a paper and pencil. With Izuku pretty much drawing like extremely well, like like an artistic thing. Because remember, Izuku is able to draw like because he was able to draw like in detail because of his little notebook habit, which actually helped him with the drawing. Which pretty much he was able to draw like the sword ideal sword, pretty much the one right here that you can see on the bottom left, with pretty much the hand, like pretty much the holster, and pretty much the idea of what, and pretty much putting like little notes of what the idea is, with pretty much like Elhart just seeing this. Pretty much this is pretty much, let's say it's like a magic sword kind of ish, but also like a regular sword. And I don't remember if like they actually have, because I only remember Raftali having like the little magic sword hilt thing. I only remember seeing that, like no sword, like no like any like sword with like enchantments and things like that. And I never saw that in Elhart's shop, so I'm just guessing no, he doesn't have that until like later on because of Naofumi with like the bracelets and jewelry and stuff. But sorry, I'm getting too ahead of myself. But pretty much Izuku gives him the idea about like if he can make like a sort of a magic sword like this, and pretty much like so he's able to use it to with his like magic or quirk. He says magic, like strengthening magic to like at least like to put at least suspicion because they don't know, no one heard about quirks and stuff like that in this world. He's pretty much Izuku told Naofumi he was going to do that. And Shigaraki said he doesn't care what Izuku does, but he does whatever he wants. Izuku being thankful to him, and also Izuku being told about and also Izuku being told that by Raftalia that like her backstory because she feels like she can trust Izuku because she thinks she kind of feels like this aura of Izuku kind of like slightly similarly to Naofumi, because like of course Izuku did kind of get like betrayed by the society itself because of his quirk and stuff, with people like being like in fear because all for one Shigaraki, you get the idea. With pretty much Rafali just saying like pretty much talking about her past and like being a slave and being told of what she went through, and of course Shigaraki's hearing this and he feels pretty bad for her. He feels sympathy, but he knows she doesn't want his sympathy. With pretty much him just being quiet and then listening. With Izuku also as well. With Izuku just thinking, saying, it's not right, but I can see why he did it. Pretty much looking at Naofumi, him just like cooking, like making medicine. Pretty much just looking at the shield that Naofumi has. With pretty much Izuku just seeing it and just thinking, you have to do some things, you have to do things that you're not proud of. I won't judge him. I don't have the right to do that. I nearly killed a man once because now what I have to do. That's what his thinking process is. So he says, I'll let him be. I will judge him. I will just follow orders. I'm not the man that gives the orders. I'll just follow them. And pretty much that his thinking process. He just takes the orders from like Naofumi. He pretty much like that. With pretty much Izuku, and also pretty much Izuku starts leveling up, and pretty much, of course, sorry, I went too ahead of myself. Pretty much, of course, Elhart, we go back to Izuku, pretty much just like spacing out randomly about like this world, and pretty much how demi-humans are being treated, because he sees kids that demi-human children just being used as slaves outside the window from like, and he hears Naofumi talking to Elhart about like weapons that Raftalia can use and stuff like that. And pretty much Izuku just sees the way they're being treated, and Izuku just like pretty much balls his fists and just in anger. And by the way, Izuku is like just wearing like regular civilian clothing. He still has the gauntlets. Yes. But like he changed clothes, but he still has his shoes. Actually, no, he doesn't have his regular solo shoes, so yeah. So anyways, yes, we continue with pretty much them going back to like farming for like experience. Of course, they get a few items in the way, with Izuku asking if Naofumi can like use some of these monster items as a way of medicine. With Naofumi being confusing, what do you mean? With Izuku saying, well, if you think about it, if you think of it as chemistry, you can use some of these, like for example, this element, and you can make something even better, and maybe even some, some like chemicals, With Naofumi never thinking of that thing. Huh, I never thought of that. And let's just say it does work, because, like I actually saw this video for someone about like what the hero, like the shield hero, or like the hero item, whatever it's called. Pretty much, it's like for example, it takes the imagination. Pretty much, it's like takes like what the wielder thinks, and it actually works. So pretty much, yes. With basically Naofumi actually trying, because he was gonna do it manually, with Izuku saying, "Wait, if we think of it as a game, why don't you try to ask the shield, or maybe think of the shield as a bit of a chemistry lab? Like, for example, you can try to make medicine on it if you put it on like your little circle there." With Naofumi saying, God, why didn't I think of that? God damn it. Pretty much, of course, he's frustrated with himself that he didn't think of it, of that. With Izuku saying, it's understandable. To be honest, I don't blame you. You're just thinking of your survival. I really don't blame you on that. Now Fumi saying, yeah. Thanks for the ideas, kid. With, of course, them just sitting in an awkward, not like awkward, but like a bit of a weird-ish silence. Like they respect each other, but still kind of a bit awkward, you know? With Izuku saying, I want to ask you a question if you don't mind. With Naofumi just being silent, and Izuku takes it as a question, like to ask a question, saying, and he pretty much just thinks of it carefully, saying, I hope you don't hate me, or not hate me, but like get even angrier with me, but I'm just curious. Were you ever betrayed by people? With Naofumi just stopping what he was doing, and Izuku took this as a yes. With Naofumi just stopping and just listening and just thinking this as, what the hell is this guy going on about? With Izuku saying, I don't want to be on your bad side in a way of betraying you or like taking advantage of you. I'm not that type of person. I just want to get to know you as an actual person. You know, since we're gonna be, you know, you can guess colleagues in a way, and I just want you to know that no matter what they say about you, I won't I won't leave a friend behind. That's all I want to say. And of course, Izuku just gets up and just walks away, with Naofumi just kind of with that conversation kind of with Naofumi just thinking, yeah, like words will mean anything to me. Of course, it looked like it didn't affect him, but in reality, it actually affected him a little bit more than he thinks, because part of him kind of feels glad, like a little bit of him in his soul is like glad that someone said that to him, because it felt like he really needed someone to talk to, you know. And later on, Naofumi will realize this, like realize this. With of course, Izuku and Shigaraki were able to fight and pretty much level up extremely quickly because of their quirks and powers. And due to this, while each time they kept leveling up and leveling up, they were unlocking their quirk, like their extra quirk. For example, for Shigaraki, he's able to control his quirk now. Like, for example, he's able to grab something with all his 5 fingers and nothing, and it doesn't disintegrate. With Izuku, he's able to control like 100%. And pretty much with the extra quirk, like imagine, and for Shigaraki, you can think of whatever quirk it is that can be useful in battle or support. You know, like it can be a healing item, it can be an item that you can guess what it is. You guys can put it in the comments for whatever you want it to be. So for Izuku, of course, he gets Black Whip, and of course, he can use it as a way to help people get out of battle, or pretty much as a way of penetrating through like tough skin or like stuff like that, because that's what Izuku used it to end the life of One for All, if you don't remember on the first part. With pretty much, of course, Izuku and Raphtalia with Naofumi and, of course, Shigaraki, pretty much this is like the end of the month, like where like they first start like the fight, if I remember correctly. Like, wait, let me check real quick. Okay, so basically then we timeskip to when Naofumi was pretty much taking a hit from a porcupine. Then instantly a black whip comes up and just says, "You okay there, Naofumi?" With pretty much Naofumi saying, "Yeah, thanks, Izuku. I kinda needed that." With Shigaraki saying, I think you can tank it really well. You don't have to tank us for anything." And yes, Shigaraki does puns now. Bite me if you hate it. With pretty much, of course, Raphtalia takes the final hit, and they all level up. And pretty much thanks to Izuku and Shigaraki, they pretty much all of them are pretty high level. Basically, Izuku at like 23, Raphtalia is at like 24. Shigaraki base since he like can insta kill anything, pretty much anything. It's basically he is basically the strongest by like being level 24, with of course Naofumi being like 4 levels under, being being at a level of 20. But still, actually no, level 21. Yeah, 21 is fine. 21 is fine. With pretty much, of course, we go back. They pretty much kind of go. Everything kind of goes the same way as canon. Basically, Naofumi with Rotalia, but of course with Izuku and Shigaraki go back to uh, Elhart. Of course, this is when they get their items. With Izuku saying, "So, did you finally finish it?" With of course Elhart saying, "Yeah, kid, I got it right here. It took a lot longer than I thought, but here." Of course, he gives Izuku the suit, and Izuku still has the scarf. With pretty much, Izuku just puts on the clothes, and he just looks, of course, like that. Pretty much, you can see it on the picture right here. With pretty much, of course, everyone, with pretty much Raftalia seeing this, and pretty much, of course, Shigaraki and Naofumi. Naofumi just does a slight smirk. With Izuku is now able to notice. With now he's saying, "It suits you. It suits you." With Shigaraki saying, "So, what about mine?" With pretty much, of course, Elhart saying, "Yeah, yeah, but man, aren't you guys really impatient?" With pretty much Izuku saying, "It's just him being him. Don't worry. You don't have to worry." With pretty much Elhart saying, "Yeah, yeah, whatever. Here you go, man." With of course Shigaraki pretty much kind of like having that like the suit, kind of like the pretty much the dress up as like Sunjin Woo. Guess imagine him as Sungjin Woo, pretty much with like the long coat and also with a bit of like boots, like tactical boots, pretty much with pants and pretty much like a dark shirt, like a black shirt, pretty much, and that's his like costume. With of course gloves, like pretty much special gloves, like he can like use them to like pretty much like the gloves won't get destroyed, but pretty much you know what I mean. Like the gloves will be intact if even if he uses his quirk, so it won't matter. So pretty much, and of course he got it from Izuku, so he wanted to have a mask. A bit of paranoia kind of also got to Shigaraki. Not too much like Izuku, but a bit. So yeah, Izuku asked if he still has the mask, and pretty much Elhart saying, "Yeah, kid, here it is. I did a few modifications." With pretty much Izuku seeing like the mask a bit different. Like the mask, it's kind of still the same mask, but instead it's just like instead of like the bunny ears, it's kind of like it's there's like what was it? Oh crap! Instead of the bunny ears, it's just like almost like a regular hood, where it's like he has like an extra mask, like where he can put it over his eyes, kind of like Robin Hood. Imagine him as Robin, like the Robin Hood style, like the with the hood thing and the mask. With pretty much just that, with Izuku saying, "What happened to my original?" With Lionheart just pointing behind him, with pretty much just showing that it's a bit messed up. With Izuku saying, "Oh, well, thanks anyway, though, Lionheart." With the Lionheart saying, "No problem, kid, and also, your special item is here." And it took a hell of a long time to do it. But it's worth it. Check this out. And of course, he pulls out Izuku's sword, and it looks amazing. Pretty much like it still has a little insignia in there, but also and it shows a bit of a dragon too at the end. Like not completely, but it slightly does show a dragon, like the top part of the head of a dragon, with the other side of the sword being like like the mouth, like the jaw of the dragon, with pretty much, and shows that like like all the effects, like pretty much it has like a lot of good effects. Like it's pretty OP. Like it has it has stun, it has like it has electrical properties. It has like so much stuff. Like it can even upgrade at sometimes if with the right stuff. Like with the right items, you can upgrade it. For example, if like let's say for example, if you got like something that's poisonous, you can actually upgrade the item with it, where it can actually also have like like a poison mode. You know, so pretty much it can change modes like that with pretty much. Now from saying, what the? How is it with Alhart saying, I don't know, it just. I guess. I guess Lady Luck is on your side, kid. Damn. To be honest, part of me wants to put this for a high price, but something tells me that it might get into the wrong hands, so. You get the only, the only piece of art that I have ever made, kid. Count yourself lucky. And thanks for the idea. So here. With pretty much Izuku's sword being thrown at him, with Izuku grabbing it, with then instantly just a little bit of lightning in the handle happened, with then simply a little text showed up saying, "Hello, Master." With Izuku and everyone shocked, saying, "What the?" Izuku saying, "What's going on? Is the sword talking to me? How is it?" With pretty much the sword saying, "Hello, Master. What is my name?" With pretty much Izuku saying, "Sorry, say what now?" "What is my name?" With Izuku saying, "Sorry, but what are you?" And I kind of got this idea from like a little fantasy manhwa. Pretty much, it's something called an ego, like with like weapons and stuff, where they have like they have like these beings that can like talk through or like talk to their user. But pretty much since Izuku can technically the sword can't talk to Izuku like mentally, it's talking through like the game thing, you know. With pretty much with pretty much the sword saying, "I am an ego. Pleasure to meet you." Izuku saying, what's an ego?" With pretty much, of course, Elhart saying, "By God, I made an ego." And pretty much just the man says, "I can die a happy man today. Even if I die today, I can die a happy man knowing that I made such a masterpiece." And pretty much he just starts dancing like this little happy jolly dance, like he doesn't like the world's gonna end and he doesn't care, you know. And pretty much Izuku says, "What's an ego?" With Elhart saying, "Oh yeah, sorry," but basically he explains what an ego is, kind of like an pretty much like a weapon that has its own awareness and pretty much what it is and stuff like that. Think of it as do any of you guys know Zero's familiar with the guy with the I forgot the main character's name, but pretty much the guy that was able to hold the sword that can talk. Imagine him like that, but instead of just talking with like a health mouth and stuff like that, he talks through like the little game screen with the ego saying, "Yes, very that is what my creator said, and he has and it is also what I heard that you gave the designs of how for my creation. Thanks to you, I have not now been made. So technically, the two of you are my creators. So, what is my name?" With both Elhart and Izuku still thinking about it, with Izuku saying, "Is it okay if I can give you a name later?" With of course the ego saying, "Of course. Can I can I at least have a temporary name?" With Izuku saying, huh. With to be honest, I don't know a name, so I'm just gonna be not creative again here and just say Hugo. Hugo, why not? It's almost like ego, so Hugo. Temporary. This is a temporary name. So if you guys want to name this ego sword, just put it in the comments. And so yeah, and basically that's it. So yes. Anyways, let's continue. With of course saying, the temporary name will be Hugo, if you don't mind. With of course the sword saying, "Okay, please wait. Okay, temporary name Hugo. Understood. Thank you." Thank you, Master Izuku Midoriya. with Izuku saying, "This is kind of weird." With Shigaraki saying, "Huh, damn kid, I guess luck really is on your side." But anyways, I just need to get my daggers. With, of course, pretty much Shigaraki asking for his daggers. With, of course, Elhart saying, "Yeah, yeah, whatever. Here, just take it already. I'm already happy to die at this point." With then, of course, uh, Shigaraki pretty much grabs his daggers, and it's kind of Sung Jin Woo, like the daggers. Pretty much he has 5 daggers. I don't remember like the other colors of the daggers, but pretty much one's poison, one's lightning, one's ice. One's poison, one's paralyzing, one's for ice, and the other is for like I don't know, like the other, I forgot the other two. I only remember 3. But basically, he said that he only has 3. What about the other 2? With Elhart saying, "Well, the other 2 are a bit more complicated than I thought, so it's gonna take about 3 more days. Sorry about that." Higaraki saying, "It's fine. It doesn't matter." Basically, he pretty much gets the little holsters for them. He puts like two of them, like on his like side, one of them in the back, and the other 2 holders of the 5, pretty much on like each of of his shoulders. Like to at least like back up if he loses or drops it. But something unexpected happens. The same thing happens for what Izuku, with pretty much Elhart saying, "Sorry, so what now?" And basically, Shigaraki just sees this thing. "Are you an ego?" With pretty much 3 words appear saying, "Yes." Like 3 yeses. With Shigaraki saying, "Are there 3 am I holding 3 egos?" Of course. All 3 of them answer, "Yeah, yes." With pretty much Shigaraki saying, "What the fuck?" Izuku saying, "Eh, I guess your redemption is coming up soon, huh?" With, of course, pretty much Ironheart at this point just flabbergasted. The man just thinks he's in heaven at this point because he was able to create not just 1, not 2, but 4 egos. And by God, this man was happy. This man has never felt any more happiness than right now in his life. With a single manly tear rolling down his face, saying, "God, if you're listening, even if I die today or tomorrow, even if it's at least 3 days from now, and I make 2 more ego weapons, I shall be fine with death. Because these 6 weapons will be my masterpiece that I leave behind." And pretty much, of course, Raphtalia and Naofumi are, of course, also flabbergasted. With Naofumi saying, "What the fuck? How the... What the..." He doesn't even know what to say. He's saying, "Oh my god." With, of course, Naofumi was about to pay with pretty much Elhart saying, "No, you don't have to pay. It's free. The little lady, but for the item, for items the little lady is fine that you can pay for, but these 4 at this point right now, they're on the house." With, of course, Naofumi saying, "Sorry, so what now?" With Elhart saying, "You just have to pay for the suits, for the suits, that's all, but the weapons, you don't have to. Knowing that I've created masterpieces right now is all that matters right now. That's all that matters." And of course, another tear just falls down his another manly tear just falls down. And it's like he's looking at it's like the ray of the sun goes through the window and just says, it's almost like playing like, "God, is it my time now? Who's gonna take care of my shop?" Of course, Naofumi just says, "Okay, here you go." And of course, the clanks. He hears the clanks and stuff. And of course, for the 3 blades, of course, of course, for Shigaraki, he just names three of the Blaze, Dabi, Toga, and Twice. With of course they accept, with Izuku saying, "Did you really name it after your old team?" With Shigaraki saying, "What? I miss those bastards. Okay, what's wrong with that?" Izuku saying, "Nothing's wrong. I just didn't expect you to name them after others, people like that." By the way, I almost forgot to explain this, but Izuku and Shigaraki did kind of explain their history and pretty much in their world about pretty much villains and heroes, about Shigaraki being a villain, pretty much trying to redeem himself in short story, with Izuku also explaining about him being betrayed by society. And this kind of does change the view of Izuku from from Naofumi's perspective, saying that he can now relate to him in a way. So pretty much, yeah, they are like good terms, like in friends. With pretty much Naofumi saying, "Good, now we just need to prepare to figure out when the waves hit." With instantly, this kind of takes uh Elhart out of his like stupor, pretty much saying, "Oh, you don't know?" With everyone just looking at Elhart, with Elhart saying, "You can just check the Dragon Hourglass and it'll tell you." With pretty much Naofumi and all of them just screaming, "What?" all at the same time. With basically, of course, they all go. And I don't remember the time it starts. I remember, yeah, never mind. So basically, yes. Um, he's basically all of them. I don't. Oh, Loot Village is still there. Yes. Sorry, it's just that I kind of forgot some of the plot, like stories. So I hope you guys understand. I hope you don't get angry with me. But basically, Loot Village, yes, kind of like that. Okay, so um, basically they go to the hourglass and just see there, and they all see like the time, like 24 hours by now. And pretty much they were about to leave, and that's when all of the other heroes are there. With then Izuku seeing all of the other heroes, the bow, the sword, and shield. Izuku, and now we have a flashback of Izuku and Naofumi talking. With Izuku just fishing, with Naofumi next to him just fishing as well. With Izuku saying, "So, what's it you want to talk about?" Naofumi saying, "Huh, so you figured it out, huh?" Izuku saying, "Yeah, we may be in good terms, but I know when someone's having thoughts about something. You don't have to say anything, if you don't want to, that is." With Naofumi just being quiet for a little bit, and just thinking if he should or should not trust him. With basically, is Naofumi just saying, "If you want to know about me, I'm not from a world with quirks or everything. I don't. It's just people with that. Everyone in my world are quirkless, you know." Basically, the same backstory of Naofumi, basically about him having a little brother and stuff like that. He tells about his family, thinking that he was pretty much like someone that was not gonna achieve anything, and of course, they pretty much put a lot of pressure on his little brother and everything. And he kind of spills his guts. Izuku just sitting there listening, not judging, not saying anything, just listening. With Nephilim pretty much ending saying, "And that's how I ended up here. Because of some bitch saying that I did something that I didn't actually do." And Izuku says, "Damn. Well, I guess we can kind of relate to each other, in a way. Not completely, but in a way." Now for me saying, "And what's your story? I know a little bit, but not the whole thing." With Izuku pretty much also spilling his guts about pretty much like how he was bullied. Basically, his whole life was hell from the beginning, about being quirkless, well diagnosed quirkless. His own best friend even bullying him with other kids, about kids in his middle school and pretty much bullying him, laughing at him, doing everything they can. Not all of them did. Some of them did, like, were kind from time to time, which will actually help them to keep moving forward. The thing that hurt him the most is that the teachers didn't even stop the bullying. They kind of encouraged it. The only people that did stop it was the kind principal that he had, that was also quirkless, and also some students that were being some of the student body, and stuff like that. And he even tells him about like his ex best friend, saying to off himself by jumping off the roof. Now for me, just listening about how tough of a life the kid Izuku had from the very beginning, and he still kept moving forward. And the guy kind of felt a little, it felt pure anger just by the thought of someone telling any one of his family members or friends doing that to him, because he won't take it. But when he hears Izuku's story about everything that he went through, everything he did, even if it was the most agonizing, painful thing, he still kept moving forward. No matter how many times he fell, he kept going back up. He kept moving forward without looking back. Sometimes, even Izuku says that he's happy some things happened, because he's here today, and because of those, he became stronger. He learns from the past. He doesn't let it control him. He helps it. He uses his fears and anger as motivation to keep moving forward. As a way of a drive to not make sure it doesn't happen again. With pretty much Naofumi takes it to heart, like to make sure he keeps moving forward, not to let it consume him. With pretty much, of course, they talk and things turn into a quiet, nice, respectful silence. It's not as the silence that it always was, like where there's like there was a bit of a wall between them. There was also respect, but there was some kind of wall between the two. But now it feels like the wall was starting to crack, and it felt nice. Just hearing the birds chirp, the water running through the river, like the river running, some leaves rustling down. With Izuku saying, "But still, sometimes I have my downfalls." If you didn't notice, but a few times Shigeru actually tried to kill me. And Izuku laughs at with Naofumi saying, "What? Really? But you two look like old friends." Izuku saying, "Yeah, now because he's changed and his whole world changed upside down, you know? But he's trying to change for the better. So just give him a chance. He deserves one after all. Of course, it's gonna be difficult back at home, but here it's like a clean slate, you know, a new start for him, and I'm okay with that. I don't mind. I know a lot of people hate him or fear him when we get back, but I'll stand beside him because he's my friend, and that's what friends do, right?" With Izuku just doing that blinding smile, like pretty much it's pretty much infectious with with of course Naofumi showing that he's smiling, not like the teeth smile. It's just a regular nice kind smile. With Naofumi seeing Izuku in a new light, where he's like really strong. He's pretty strong for some kid that went through a lot of traumatic shit. With Naofumi just thinking that he's just sitting here whining about like all the unfairness that he went through. Of course, he still kind of whines about it, but now he sees what Izuku went through, and Izuku didn't whine about it. He just kept going. He took it and just kept walking forward. Of course, there was a bit of talk, like like he should have asked for help at some points, but he understands some of the reasons of why Izuku did it, and he instead thought and stop whining about it and just keep walking. Sometimes you may look back and think you can change this and this, but if you did, what would happen in the present time? What would change? Because slight changes of the past have a massive domino effect in the future, and you don't know what direction it'll go. With of course Naofumi understanding this, he kind of thinks he not complete not he like thinks that he should thank mine for meeting this kid, but at the same time he really doesn't want to. He doesn't want to do that. But instead, he kind of the point of view of Naofumi kind of changes, but stays the same. So like basically, Naofumi's gonna be like rude and like sassy and like the same Naofumi, like like quote unquote cold hearted out front, like only when he meets other people. But he'll give them a slight chance to prove themselves. So pretty much, but when he's like alone with his party and stuff like that, he's like a really not he's a kind man that shows concern for everyone in his party and pretty much tries to protect everyone. Well, then we go back to the present. Izuku seeing all of the cardinal heroes with their parties. With pretty much Naofumi saying, "Don't worry, we're just leaving. I was just trying to check the time so we can pretty much do the thing, whatever it's called. I don't care anymore. Come on, guys, let's go." And pretty much, of course, let me just let me Motoyasu pretty much was pretty much doing the same thing, pretty much trying to do the moves on of course Raftalia, with Raftalia saying she doesn't really isn't she's not that type of person. She really doesn't care if he's the spear hero and stuff like that. And pretty much Motoyasu kind of shocked by this because it usually works with pretty much Mizuku saying, "Look, Playboy, I don't care who you are, if you're the hero here, but you're really just taking the fame and not actually doing shit, Jack. Not doing jack. So please move out of the way, and you won't get punched in the dick. Got it?" Because Izuku is just having pretty much Izuku sees Raftalia as Eri, so pretty much he sees Raftalia as a younger sister. With of course this changed Izuku not being so being really protective of his little sister ish. With of course Izuku like saying that with like such a sweet smile, with Motoyasu just feeling like a chill going down his spine. With mine saying, "Such a peasant! Why would you talk to the great spear hero?" With Izuku saying, "Shut it, bitch." And yes, I felt amazingly happy just saying that because, dear God, it is so satisfying just saying that. With pretty much, of course, Izuku like points a tentacle, a black whip, sorry, at front of her, like a pointy black whip in front of her face, and it looks like a harpoon. Izuku saying, "We don't have time for this. We have 24 hours, and we're not trying to lose time. So move." With of course, pretty much they move. With then Ren notices something behind Izuku's back. He sees it, and it's a sword. Not just a sword, but it looks like a katana. And he sees this, and he pretty much, let's just say he was able to see like the little specks on it, and he thought it was the best sword he could ever see. He even tried to copy it, but the thing is, he wasn't able to. And let's just say because of the ego, which what makes it special, because of the sword, and it wasn't completely perfect. He wasn't able to at all copy everything. It's like let's just say you know how like each like for example legendary sword you can only have one copy, but if you try to copy it, it starts getting weaker and weaker for each like different copy, so basically that like the stats were like extreme much weaker than the original, basically that. With of course Ren just seeing this, if he tried to copy it, it would just get weaker than the original. He kind of became jealous of Izuku's sword, but he just let it pass because sometimes you can't have everything. With then pretty much they leave. With of course mine, they try to leave, sorry, but mine says, he tried to, rape me and stuff like that. She tries to do the rape card and stuff like that. And pretty much Shigaraki just like had it with her and just throws her a dagger, which kind of cuts her cheek. With everyone shocked, except for like Izuku, Naofumi, and Raphtalia. With Mind saying, "Why did you?" With pretty much instantly, uh, Shigaraki appeared in front of her. Pretty much looks like he was grabbing her face, but instantly he says, "Sorry, my hand slipped." And pretty much imagine Arthur in that moment, the Arthur moment, and pretty much, Motayo saying, "Hey man, what the hell?" And Shigaraki saying, "Just to let you know, I can tell the difference between a truth and a lie." And she, of course, pointing at mine, saying, "She is playing you all like a fiddle in just the tip of her fingers." So I recommend all of you be careful what she says, because things that come out of her mouth are lies. And also, don't think of trying to lie to me, because I see through lies, and I can tell what the truth is. And of course, he pretty much walks away. And by the time, and pretty much when he was saying that, its mine was just like furious, but also scared because she was gonna be found out that she lied about everything that Naofumi did. And pretty much she was just thinking of plans try to kill Naofumi's group, but she's not gonna make them happen yet. With of course Naofumi saying, "Nice job, Shigaraki. To be honest, I'm thankful you did that." And also, if you didn't notice, she's a princess of this kingdom. Shigaraki saying, "And?" With Naofumi just laughing, saying, "God, you have balls, man." Shigaraki saying, "If you nearly died once, you don't care about dying again. You just enjoy life to the fullest until you do." Izuku saying, "True, very true." And of course they get ready and stuff like that. And pretty much same as canon, same fight. With the inclusion of Izuku, it actually got way easier. Like to protect Loot Village, it was super easy with people just thinking Izuku and Shigaraki. Pretty much Shigaraki just had to deflect like the hits and pretty much activate his quirk with like some other support quirks, like able to create. Let's say is able to create some things and stuff like that. And pretty much because of this, it was able to. They were all praising Shigaraki and Izuku, and of course the Shield Heroes party. Pretty much everyone is happy with, of course, then the whole pretty much the waves ended. And sadly, the same thing as canon happened. Wait, sorry. I think this is when the same thing as canon happens for like the party. I don't remember. I'm sorry if I confused it. But basically, I think this because I don't remember completely. But yeah, anyways, yeah, pretty much like the party they invited with pretty much Izuku asking if Naofumi's sure about this. Naofumi saying, "Yeah, let's just do this and get it over with. Besides, I want my money, and also I kind of want my food, and I'm kind of hungry since we don't have any ingredients and food like that." Izuku saying, "Okay then." And of course, they accept the invitation and stuff like that. With, of course, Naofumi, Raphtalia, and pretty much Izuku and Shigaraki enjoy the food. With pretty much Izuku having his mask on. With people just like whispering about him, like, who is he? What, oh, sorry about the little picture. Sorry, I did not notice it. Pretty much asking of who he is, why he has a weird mask on and stuff like that, like the hood and stuff. With pretty much Shigaraki just kind of have the mask on, to not fully see his face. And of course, he's pretty tall. With some women's like speaking of him like, oh my god, he's so handsome, oh my god, like stuff like that. With then pretty much, um, same thing with Raftalia as canon. Pretty much she enjoys the food with Naofumi. With then Motayas, with then of course Shigaraki, then looks just something got his eye, a color red. Then he slightly turns his eyes and just sees that Motoyasu. And of course, mine. Let's say he was able to unlock a quirk that enhances his hearing and like his senses. And pretty much, yeah. And he was able to hear this, like, about the line that mine's saying that Raftalia is a slave against her will and pretty much being used for and stuff like that, like for bad things. With Shigaraki hearing this, he goes to Izuku. He pretty much pats Izuku's shoulder, saying, not trying to gain attention, With pretty much, Izuku's notice, of course, feels like the pat. With Izuku looks at like, pretty much gives a glance to Shigaraki. Shigaraki just, and let's say he has a telepathic, like quirk, saying, Izuku, that bitch is at it again. She's trying to make up lies. Well, she's not technically lying at first part, but the second, it's a big bad one. Izuku asking, and what is that? And he said, pretty much explained about the whole thing that she was saying, and Izuku pretty much says, got it. And of course, he tried to look not so suspicious, with pretty much then, of course, he grabs food. He makes it look like he's grabbing food and going to like the place where Nafumi is, and pretty much Nafumi notices this, and he feels like something's off. With Izuku saying, "We're gonna have to go now, quick." Nafumi saying, "Huh? Why?" With Izuku saying, "Because," but he gets cut off because now Amaterasu comes here and just says, "Nafumi." With Nafumi saying, "Huh? What is it?" With with Motoyasu saying, I I heard from mine that that girl is a slave. Is that true?" With of course mine saying, "Yes, it's true, but what's wrong with that?" With Motoyasu saying, "Such shame." Now for me, pretty much the same talk about like being, he should be ashamed about being like having a slave and stuff like that, and he should release her. With pretty much Izuku pretty much butting in saying, actually, he did tell her that she can like leave him anytime she wants, and this offer still stands. So really, it's her choice. So you should ask her instead. With pretty much Moteyasu hearing this, he asks her if this is true. With Mo- of course, Raftalia saying it's true that he has asked her. He asked if she wanted to leave and live her own life, and she said she does want to live her life, but she wants to be next to Naofumi still. And she explains that Naofumi isn't the person that they all think. He's a really kind man. He took care of her when she was sick. He took care of her as a father and as a big brother, and as she was about to say like her true feelings, but she kind of stopped herself and she started blushing. And pretty much, Motoyasu kind of hearing this, he still, of course, being Motoyasu, still, of course, mind kind of used the oh no, the shield, devil of the shield is able to mind control and shit like that. You get the story pretty much. With pretty much, um, with pretty much Motoyasu throwing the glove, same as canon. With pretty much Naofumi saying, "No, look, I'm not gonna agree to this fight, and I'm just gonna go. So, bye." With of course the king appearing and saying, "You cannot." A fight between the cardinal heroes or something you cannot disagree with or decline. With Izuku saying, "I'm willing to fight him." With people looking at Izuku like he's crazy. With, of course, Naofumi saying, okay, if you want to. With Matayasu saying, you coward, letting others fight your battles. With Izuku saying, are you really an idiot? Can't you see he's the shield hero? The only thing he can do is defend. So, if you're supposed to be the great spear hero, you're really the greatest, dumbest person in this world to be summoned for. With of course Izuku uses this as a bait to kind of make Motoyasu not think straight. Think of it as a Spider-Man thing, you know, using the foul mouth of Spider-Man to like distract people, while Izuku's just throwing punches for punches, you know. So yeah, basically he literally, and of course Motoyasu being Motoyasu, he takes the bait. Motoyasu saying, "Fine, I'll take this little punk down if I have to." Being annoyed and angered, pretty much of course he walks off. With mine just like does a little like the raspberry, with Izuku just pretty much flipping her off. With mine just seeing this thing offended. With the king saying this, why aren't you a troublemaker? With Izuku saying, what, is she your daughter or something? Of course he does know she's actually the daughter of the king, with he saying, yes, she is my daughter. So I recommend you act nice to her, and show her respect. Izuku saying, I don't show respect to the people that don't deserve it. They have to earn it, so if she wants respect, she has to earn it. But for now, she's nothing but on the shit list right now. See ya. And of course, Shigaraki is like, I think I may have altered his personality a little bit too much right now. With Naofumi saying, yeah, I think you did. Maybe you should tone it down next time. Shigaraki saying, noted. With then pretty much, we go to the battlefield, where Izuku's just standing there with the hood up and pretty much the mask. With, of course, then Motoyasu just, and pretty much both Motoyasu and Izuku just standing there. With then pretty much, of course, the same deal goes with pretty much Izuku saying, so, if we win, you have to give us your money. And if we lose, we set Raftalia free. And also let her choose of what she wants to do. Done deal? Pretty much like jokingly. With, of course, Raftalia just saying, Big Brother Izuku, like, Big Brother Izuku, go beat him! Even though she looks older than Izuku, she's still mentally kind of like a 10-year-old if you think about it. But yeah, anyways, Izuku just says, don't worry, it'll be fine. I'll just play with him right now. Then experienced hero with the pro. With pretty much Motoyasu kind of confused by this. Pretty much then the match was told to start. With of course Motoyasu just putting that aside. Instantly he goes attack to Izuku, but Izuku instantly just quickly dodges without even throwing a punch. With pretty much Izuku saying, sloppy, very sloppy. And of course, Motoyasu is just doing the same brute force attack, with Izuku saying, wow, you have no technique. I see why some of you are not the most powerful hero. With of course, Motoyasu still being angered by Izuku saying that. Izuku's just saying, just yawning, saying, I thought this was supposed to be a challenge. Where is it? Is this just? I think the levels. I think she put the level on baby mode. With then Motoyasu being more angry and angry with Izuku's like little words being said. With pretty much Izuku saying, "Well, fine, fine. Do you want me to be serious, little guy? Do you want me to be serious, little guy?" Of course, this is just Izuku trying to like make Motoyasu mad to like not think straight and just go for the attack for the perfect moment for Izuku to attack. You know, like Spider-Man shit like that. With then pretty much Motoyasu saying, "Stop dodging, coward, and fight." With Izuku saying, "Okay," but then instantly a seriousness over his eyes, just like he's a different person. Then Motoyasu just attacks him, with Izuku not moving yet. Then Motoyasu attacks. Izuku just moves his body to the side. He moves his body a little, with then Motoyasu missing. Then instantly Izuku grabs the spear and just instantly knees Motoyasu in the stomach. Motoyasu instantly falls down to his knees. Izuku instantly just punches him. Not like with 100%. He doesn't want to kill the guy, but pretty much he just puts it like what at like and about 11%. Yeah, 11%, and punches Motoyasu in the face. With pretty much Motoyasu instantly being unconscious, like not instantly being unconscious, but pretty much trying to hold on to consciousness. With pretty much Izuku slowly walking up to Motoyasu saying, "You want to know something? There's something really funny about this." In a serious tone, Izuku said. Motoyasu just coughing up a bit of blood and also spitting out a tooth. With Izuku saying, I... You say you're one of the cardinal heroes and the best hero of this world? I think that's a complete lie. Because a true hero doesn't let fame and fortune control them. A true hero keeps walking and does the right thing. But you are being used for someone's game. I don't know why you follow that woman's like thing, like words as like like the order of law or some shit. But just know that that type of shit isn't real. Instantly, he literally just leveled up, and then Izuku got um a new skill. It's called, you guessed it, it's the warning one. I forgot what it was called, but pretty much the warning quirk. And pretty much instantly, his quirk was going haywire. Instantly, he jumped. With then instantly the wind attack that was nearly gonna attack him hit Motoyasu instead. With Izuku looking behind him, and he sees mine like a way of like shooting air. With then pretty much Izuku looking at her like daggers. Not like completely looking at her like with like turned around completely, but just enough to see one eye. And that eye was glowing green. Violent green. And Izuku looks at her in a way of like bloodlust. With everyone in the stadium seeing this and feeling the bloodlust. Like the party are of course not affected, but they can still feel it. Izuku just told her, "You stay out of this. If not, you won't see tomorrow. Got it?" With, of course, mine just kind of falls to her knees, and just like tears start falling down. With the king just starts shaking, with the other heroes also like just shaking. With then pretty much the other with Ren instantly just seeing that his sword was like also kind of like shaking a little bit. Not in the way of like fear or anything, it's like faltering to Ren. And think of it as Ren was starting and slowly losing his his sword. Yeah, think of it as that way. Yes, and no, of what you think. No, Izuku's not gonna be the next. He's not gonna steal the sword from Ren. No, 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 no. He's not gonna do that. No, I'm not gonna do that. So pretty much, yeah. If you guys were thinking that, that won't happen. But it's just a little thought, you know. Who knows? It might or might not. Who knows? But anyways, of course, Izuku says, "Let's get out of here." Of course, the king was going to try to stop them, with Izuku just giving him the same glare. With the king stopping before he even saying anything, and just says, "Let them pass. Let the demon get out of here." With, of course, that is where I'm going to leave it. I hope you guys enjoyed this What If. I hope you guys have a great day, good afternoon, or good night, wherever y'all are. Take care. Bye!